Welcome to Grandpa Hill's Stories. I am Grandpa Hill. For my children, my grandchildren, and all children, what you're about to hear really happened to me.
Gorf, do you like to go fishing?
Not really. Sometimes people go fishing for me.
Well, I really like to go fishing.
Well then, you really like Grandpa's story. He gets to go fishing.
I wonder what he catches. With his fishing pole and his worms and his lures and...
We will listen. You will be surprised.
Okay.
Here with two of my grandsons, and both of them like to fish. This is a fishing story. It's a special one. It's one you have never heard before. And we went fishing in a different place than you've ever thought of before. Grandpa and his brother Jerry went fishing in a pipe.
No, but then how?
Excuse me.
It's a pipe. Actually, to be more correct, it was a culvert. You ever see a culvert? Takes the water like through a pipe under the road, under the driveway. That's a culvert. We walked into a culvert.
Oh, like the
So anyways,
huge pipes.
we got up in the morning.
The huge pipes.
Yes, I'm about 8 years old. My little brother is 7 or 8. And my bigger brother, Eugene, was with us. And my grandmother woke us up, and my mom was there too, and said, we're going to go fishing. And we got to the fishing, and we said, well, let's get our poles. And they said, you won't need any fishing poles. I said, well, how do we catch the fish? And they said, well, you'll catch the fish with your hands. And I said, I don't think so. How big are they, like minnows? No, they're not minnows, they're fish. So we drove into the little town of Northport, Michigan.
Okay, is your mom saying this stuff?
No, not exactly. It was a discussion with Grandma and Mom and 3 boys that wanted to go fishing and couldn't understand fishing without fishing poles.
I can't understand fishing without fishing poles either.
Eugene, he brought a net.
That
And
makes sense.
we drove up, we parked the car, and we all got out. Grandma stayed in the car, Mom got out, and showed us where we were going to go fishing. And she told us what to do. She said, Jerry, Donald, get in the pipe. Get in the pipe? We had to go in a pipe. It's very dangerous to go in pipes, especially if they don't have another end. But this pipe went underneath the road. It was a big culvert, maybe about almost 3 feet high, not quite. But in order to get in it, we had to crouch down. And it's very dark and black, and the water's black. The water's like about maybe 8 inches deep, and there might be broken glass, and we're barefoot, and we're a little bit scared because we can feel something on our feet. Fish. We could feel fish on our feet. That made us wiggle and jump, which means our head hits the culvert, and then we're sore, and then we fall down, and then it's a mess. Now, so we're walking. So we're walking through this culvert, all the way down underneath the road, and then when we get to the end of the culvert, there'll be a fish or two that is scared out of the culvert. Comes into the little pond, little open spot where the water's flowing slower, and then my brother would get his net, the oldest brother, and scoop up the fish. And it would be a fish. You know what kind of fish it was? It was a suckerfish. A suckerfish has an ugly nose. It goes, and it sucks things. And sometimes it'll stick itself to other things as it tries to eat. It's a bottom feeder fish. It tastes terrible. But that's what Grandma and Mom said we were going to do. We were going to go sucker fishing.
Yeah.
So each suckerfish was about like that long.
I
It was like 2 pounds of sucker.
saw suckerfishes in Aquanaut.
Whoa. Well, this was a suckerfish, and it had a sucker of it. And we knew it didn't taste good, but they didn't stink. Like sometimes carp fish, they stink. But this didn't stink. They looked okay, so we did this. And they would fall out. Nobody got cut, and we'd have to keep going. After we get out, both of us would come back. One of us would take turns going first, wiggling around those fish and trying to keep your toes out like that and try to keep pushing them. And then we'd also take a stick and try to keep moving. We couldn't see anything. We just think we're moving them. And then we get to the end of the pipe, and we'd see 1 or 2, sometimes 3 fish would go out into the little pond. And then we'd stay there so they wouldn't come back in and wait until my brother had scooped them out. We did that for 2 hours.
How many did
We never saw a single fish go in the pipe, but we'd always get to see a fish or 2 go out of the pipe.
Then how'd they get in?
We don't know. We never saw them. They were all there. But they were all there. So when we were done and we had the fish, how many fish?
100.
Not quite that many, but it could have been. We didn't count them. There were so many.
20.
You know, we had bushel baskets. You know what a bushel basket is? It's a pretty big basket.
Yeah.
Right? 2 bushel baskets full over the top. Full of suckerfish.
Yeah.
How many of them do you think we ate for dinner that night?
A bushel. 0.
We didn't eat a single one. Remember I said they taste terrible?
That's 0.
I couldn't understand why we were doing all this fishing. But this is what we did with them. Grandma, very good. She raised a lot of children, like 9 children or something like that, or maybe 10. There was a whole bunch of them. My mom was one of the older ones. Grandma knew how to pickle them. She pickled the fish, and it tasted as good as pickled herring.
Yeah.
And some people like pickled herring. It's like a dill pickle with a little fish taste to it.
Yeah,
And anyway, so we did get to eat some, but not until the next year when we came back up on vacation, and we were offered some pickled herring. And like the boys, like each boy got a whole jar of pickled suckerfish.
You said pickled herring.
Yeah, well, that's what we'd like to think of it as herring. It tasted like herring.
To my mom, and she told me to go in for it.
And you go in a pipe? Well, we better talk to your mom. How are you going to get enough fish to eat? People needed to eat.
Well,
we felt so important to go fishing.
We would just make a robot.
A robot. Yeah, well, there were no robots in the 1960s. We were just 2 little boys fishing in a pipe. That's the end of my story.
You didn't catch a single fish in the pipe.
I was surprised. He caught fish in a pipe. I've never even heard of such a thing.
Poor Grandpa. He said he was scared and bumped his head and he didn't get to use his fishing pole.
But Gorf, he caught lots of fish. He did something new. He helped the family. He got in the pipe like his mother told him. I think he was proud of what he got done. He said so himself.
I guess so. Still seems like a lot of work and nothing to eat at the end.
He did the right thing. And he was successful. And he got pickled suckerfish the next year. It tasted like herring. And that was worth waiting for.
I don't like waiting.
Yeah, I guess me neither. But pickled herring's pretty good.
Marshmallow?
Yes?
Another very good part of the story.
Yes?
Well, Grandpa didn't go fishing for frogs.
Well, Not this time.
Really? That's it. I'm out of here.
Wait, come back! We got another story to do!